This one is going to be about using the fonts you have but jazzing them up a smidge. For example, this first one is called Showtime. You see up here. I've used it for a couple movie night posters that some of the branches are having. And I insert a shape and then a rectangle and go ahead and make one over the top of the first light. Now it's obviously too big. I'm going to first fill it with a color, which you can do by right clicking to bring the menu up and do it there, or you can go to drawing tools and shape fill here, and then go to shape outline, which is the outline of the box, which is blue here, and click on no outline, and it'll get rid of that and just give you a plain colored box. And then we'll go to size and position and type in a number that we think is going to get us down to that dimension. Then hit Control and your arrow keys to nudge it into position. There, now we have the first light colored. So say we wanted to individually color the lights. I would just copy and paste that light and put it into position, and then go up to Shape Fill and change the color. Then hit Control C, Control V again, make another one, and nudge it into place with your Control key and your arrow keys, and choose another color. And then hit Control C, Control V, and so on and so forth. Keep changing the colors to give yourself a multicolored marquee, which you'll see on Cartersville and Waynesfield's movie nights. I just got done changing those to make them fun, colorful marquees for their movie nights. And I also added colored Shelley's, I believe, using the same technique, although slightly different, and I'll show that in a minute. So I got all these colors together. I have all these colors, and I need 4 more, so maybe I will grab the first 4 here and just grab them all together, hit Control C, Control V, and just use your arrow keys to nudge them on down, then Control arrow to move them just a tiny bit into place, and now we have the whole light bar. Now what we're going to do is click, drag to select all of them, then hover over one of the little circles, right click, and send it back. And now you have your light bar lit up. And the red one and the yellow one are a little below the line, so we'll just select those and nudge them up, and there you go. Now, if you wanted to copy what you've done to the top to the bottom, it's very quick and easy. Just left click, click and drag to select them all. Hover over one of the circles, right click, hit copy, or hit Control C, Control V. Now these are going to be in the front, but all we're going to do then is nudge them into place, leave them just as they are, then hover over the circle, right click, send it back, and done. Now you can see these are all above the line, so I'm going to select them again and nudge them down, and now they're back behind it. So now we've made a cute little movie block to highlight that font. We can also do it with one continuous stream of color by making a longer, actually, without even having to draw a new one, you can grab one of these, hit Control C, Control V, because you know it's already the shape we need it to be as far as width, but it's much too short. So we'll go to size and position, and we will just make it longer by hitting our up arrow. This is the easiest way by far. 1.4 is a little too far, so we might hit 1.3. That's a little too short. So we'll go back into size and position and go 1.34. And almost there. One more time. 1.36. There. Bump it back just a smidge so it's back inside the black line, and say you just wanted them to be yellow like just a regular light bar. Nudge it down a smidge and send it to back. There. Now you have a continuous stream of color behind your lights to indicate one light color. Control C, Control V, nudge into place with Control and your arrows, send it back. And there you go. So that is a way that you can add color to the Showtime font. And again, if you wanted to continue, say there's 4 here, you could grab any 4 in this series that you wanted just by using your click and drag select. Slide them into place, nudge, nudge. They're all selected. Right click, send it back. Oop, they're a little high. Grab them again, nudge them down. Copy, Control C, Control V, using my arrow keys only to move it into place, and then Control arrow to nudge it. Right click, send it back. So there you go. So that's how you can pick and choose any number of them. Say you count these out, you have 6, you just pick any 6 in the series, copy them, paste them over, and once you get the first couple done, they're the only ones you have to do by hand. Then you can just copy and paste, and then grab them by a group and copy and paste them, and then just nudge them around until they're in the right spots. So that's one way, that a font that's very fun to play with. That way, computer classes, here's another. Insert, rounded rectangle. Try to draw your rounded square just the same width to actually fill these keys in with color. I don't think I'm going to get it without maneuvering it this way. I'm going to nudge it up a little bit. Now it's a little too wide, but I'm going to use the same technique I did before and fill the inside and remove the outline by hitting no outline. And then hit send it back. And now you went from a key that's completely plain and uncolored to one that is colored in. And just like we did before, hit Control C, Control V, and nudge, nudge, nudge. And once you have your shape set, you can just copy and paste and say, I want these to be purple. I can hit the first one, click it, and hit Shift and click the next. Drawing tools, shape fill, purple. Send it back, and the next 2 are purple. And in this kind of case, it's okay if there's a little bit of a border. In some cases, it looks a little edgier, a little more fun if it's not completely filled in, and looks intentional as long as it's consistent. So that, again, wrong one. See, I make mistakes too all the time. So that's how you can play with that. And this font is called Quartz Taste. It's under the AA, Quartz Taste. But if you typed in keyboard into DaFont or keyboard font or computer font into dafont.com, you would surely find it. These fonts are called Comet Positive and Comet Negative. They're super fun. They almost look like blocks for kids programs. Same philosophy applies that we used for computer classes. And I'm just going to copy and paste as your friend. You don't have to make a lot of original stuff if you can copy and paste. Send it back. And there you go. Now that's filled in. Now, because of the shape of the letters inside these boxes, sometimes you'll need to play with the sizes to get them to fill it completely so that you don't have a whole bunch of edges. Wrong one again. See, this one is not going to fill it. And I also used the rounded square here, which is not going to fill it in. So actually I made a mistake. I need to clear these out and go back and make the squares myself. And that's a little shy. So let's click and drag it out. That's going to be too big. But I'm going to remove the line first, which this time, because I've done the same thing time after time, you'll notice that you'll get your defaults will change for your fill color and your outline. And since I keep taking the outline off, it shows no outline, which is what that clear bar means here. So it's starting to give you quick keys to edit. So you can choose to use those to edit. I'm going to nudge it into place and send it to back and see where we are. It's a little outside that line to the left. So I am going to have to change the size and position and take the width down, maybe just one hair, and then nudge it into place because now it's a little shy on the right side. So there, once you have that, you can select it, copy, Control C, Control V, copy paste, slide it down to the next one, change its color, and right click, send it back, and you're filling it in one by one by one. The same philosophy applies to comment negative. And once you get the hang of it, this goes very quickly. It looks time consuming, but it goes a lot quicker once you have the hang of how to do it. And I keep clicking around to find a neutral zone to not be grabbing from my select, because otherwise I'm grabbing other items. So you'll need to find, like, this is how big this text box is, so I'll need to go kind of in between the text boxes to start my selection box. So that's how that works, and that's how they look. Other ones are fonts that are complete in and of themselves. They don't have holes in them per se, like these do, or voids. But a way to make them even more prominent, especially when they're broken or have a lot of white space, is to put color or a picture or something behind them. So say you had a picture that you wanted to put that over the top, you might make this font white and put it over a colored picture. So for example, we'll use this blue bar. I'll send it to back, and maybe we make this font white. Now all of a sudden you can see the definition of it a lot clearer. So if maybe we want to jazz it up and hit shadow, and now it's got a lot more dimension to it. So adding color behind it and shadow to your font, especially one like this, will jazz it up. Knitting classes, I did the same thing recently to a knitting class flyer. I just put a bar around it so that the detail in the font can be seen, because otherwise it's a little hard to see black on white or even color on white because there's just not enough definition change. Nope. Send it back, and I'm going to make this font white, or you could choose to make them contrasting colors. So say you wanted to make your text box or your drawing box blue, maybe a dark blue, and the actual font itself orange. You could make them complement offsetting colors. So you see how much nicer that font looks. It actually looks embroidered with a color behind it. You can also fill a text box without creating a shape. For example, this one, I'm going to leave the font black, but change, I can just click, here's editing with the dotted line, click on the line to make it solid. And shape fill, you can actually just fill the text box itself without creating a special shape with color straight out. So say you wanted to change it to fluorescent green, you can make the whole text box fluorescent green. So sometimes you have to create a shape to put behind it, like this, where you actually have the text box and the shape. You have two pieces, or you can color the text box itself to fill in behind a font where there's a lot of white space, like this knitting font. And that is called knit font for your reference. So that's a couple other ways that you can modify and have fun with fonts to really make them pop off of your flyer.